Welcome back, everyone, to Y.E.S. We are once again going to do the 5 and 5. This is where I talk about 5 entertainers in the world of anything entertainment-oriented brought us yes moments, and 5 entertainers that brought us no moments. Now remember, this is not to say that the yes artists are perfect and always will be. That is not possible, nor will it happen. And it does not mean that the no's are, crazy, weird, bad people that are always going to be in that category. That's not the purpose of it. The purpose is to point out 5 moments on both sides of the spectrum where we should elaborate where we actually are with entertainment, what we should value, and things that we should just probably be motivating and teaching others who are going into this kind of realm. We need to try and promote the actual good quality and the good character for our entertainers out there, and try to, if you want to say, be dismissive or just say just don't do that for the no category, then okay, yeah, however harsh you want to be or however just somewhat submissively understanding in some sort of capacity, sure, we can go in that direction. This time around, I am actually going to start with the yeses, going from 5 to 2, and I'm going to leave the number 1 for very last. After I do 5 through 2, we'll do all 5 no's, but I want to leave on a good note because I think that I just want to try it. I want to see if we can mix it up that much in this type of regard. So, having said that, let's go through this and let's get the beat going down. All right, there we go. Bringing the beat down. At number 5 for the yes category, there is a very sweet-looking lady named Beth on YouTube. Beth happens to have a children's YouTube channel called the Children's Storytime Bookshelf. The reason I'm highlighting this YouTube channel that I found is because we had a really weird month where people were making Dr. Seuss books controversial. That seems really weird for me, and I'm sure for lots of other people, it's very strange. There were some arguments on both sides, and I'm just like, okay, whatever issue people have with Dr. Seuss books, I'm just invalidating them right now. It's a ridiculous situation to really talk about. But really what got my attention, is one of the books that was starting to get discontinued from being made is called And to Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street. She made a video for this book where she reads it, and this is her second most popular video now. And it turns out she actually made an entire playlist of Dr. Seuss books, and I think she's just doing a tremendous job. I'm going to actually link this in the description because I think if any viewers out there want to actually have these books in a digital format or want to be able to share these in some capacity with their kids, nieces, nephews, whatever it is, then this is great. This is a great way to be able to share that with them and kind of stick it to all the weirdos out there that think that Dr. Seuss in any way was offensive in some way. All right. Following that, we're going to go to the number 4 pick, a football player. Yes, football's still around. It's an American thing. Nestor Manuel Iguera. Nestor is in some other college conference that was still playing football, and it was a championship game that he was playing. Now, take this into mind. Manuel here is 5'5" and weighs 285 pounds. Kind of a disproportionate looking kind of guy there, but the guy is talented, and he's a kicker. And what really came down for this game was that his team, let me double check, I was going to get this right, the Arizona Christian University, they needed to get the kick to win, and it was actually pretty far back, if I'm remembering watching the video, and he kicked it just perfectly. And the crowd went wild. His teammates went wild. It was an awesome thing to see. And just, standardly looking at a guy like this, you just wouldn't think of him to be maybe the prime example of a football player. But hey, anybody can overcome an assumption or, what's the other word I want to look for? A stereotype. And he did that perfectly, and he's got a great attitude. I saw him also on an interview with Pat McAfee. It was great. He's a good guy. We'll see if he gets to have further success in football moving forward. But for now, just get to highlight him here because it was an awesome kick, and he did a great job. The number 3 spot, I'm going to give to Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder finally finished his Snyder cut of the Justice League, which for many people was a disappointment. I've been very careful about watching certain DC movies that have come out recently, but this one was great just because the fans desperately wanted to have this out there. It was like a rumor, it was like a borderline conspiracy theory that this was out there, but they brought this forward, and a lot of people just wanted to put this down and be like, no, we're gonna let the executives or whoever else who are the potentially quote-unquote smarter people in Hollywood take care of this, and we're just gonna move beyond this. No, Zack Snyder knew that he had a vision, and it was working out really. He wanted it to work out in the best possible way so that the fans would not be disappointed. Now, I think that there are semi-mixed reviews from the actual critics of this movie, but if you're looking at reviews from the fans, they're in love with this movie because they're getting a lot more depth from some of the other characters in the Justice League. And so this is kind of a cool concept that we got to see here. I don't know if we're ever really going to get to see this again in this kind of type of concept, but, who really knows? But for now, I'm just happy to highlight that Zack Snyder, with all the effort and support from the fans, was able to bring his vision to life for the movie and not just the other directorial overlords making decisions for him. However you really want to put it. That sounds like something a lot of other YouTube channels kind of use, that kind of vocabulary anyway. All right, number 2. Now, I am hesitant. I feel like maybe I could put him number 1, but I'm going to go with Steph Curry. Steph Curry had an amazing All-Star game. He won the 3-point contest only for the second time. You think he'd probably win a couple more times at this point, but despite that, he won it in a great fashion. They changed it up a little bit in order to make the 3-point game challenge more interesting, and he pulled it off super well. I was really proud of that. And then when he actually played in this All-Star game, he looked like he was the one who was having the most fun. He turned around and made a shot and turned around without looking. He knew it was going in. I think he even got a dunk in there at one point. And he's just, making these ridiculous shots, and it just looked like he's having fun. And so I just gotta highlight him here and be like, Steph Curry, you're proving a lot of these people who are maybe beginning to doubt you or something like that, and just be like, yeah, no, I still got game. So let's just move forward with that. I was really happy to see him smile and just go crazy. It was really fun. All right, so we got to the number 2. We're going to pause for number 1 on the yeses, and we're going to start with the no's. So for the number 5 spot, I am going to go with a Grammy situation here. Yeah, I actually did watch a lot of the Grammy stuff. I don't know how much people are interested in award shows anymore these days, but I decided I was going to look into it because I like the idea that they honor virtually every genre out there possible that they can give a award to. And so there were a lot of problems that actually happened with this show. The first being Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion doing their WAP performance. Now, I'm not making this actually the number 5 spot because it feels like a rehash of something I already talked about. But, just throwing it out there like I don't approve of it, and I think those two girls are terrible examples for girls out there. So just throwing it out there. And then there's also a controversy about the performance that was put on by Lil Baby, but it feels like it's too political for me to get on and put on a list like this. So for now, I'm not going to put it on there. What did come from the Grammys that I really did not like was actually Jhené Aiko. She hosted all the awards that were not in the quote-unquote popular categories that they do at the end that Trevor Noah was hosting. Jhené Aiko hosted, and I don't know a whole lot about her other than that I reviewed her album Chilombo recently. She did a terrible job. It was so awkward. She can't read a teleprompter. She's not great at presenting anything. I was just like, oh my gosh, get her off the stage. Let Bill Burr do the whole thing, even though he had his own controversy, quote unquote, in that regard. So yeah, Jhené Aiko, didn't do a good job. So, gotta put her on here. Number 4 spot, I'm gonna highlight also another football player, Isaiah Wilson. Isaiah Wilson was playing for the Tennessee Titans, and I believe he only just got drafted the last season. And he got traded to the Miami Dolphins because he had some controversy that was technically going on back in January, but no one was really knowing about what was taking place other than, I guess, the organization in Tennessee itself. So that stuff was starting to come to light, and they thought, we don't want to have him around. He's not going to be part of our team culture and things like that, so they traded him. And he only lasted with the Dolphins for a few days, and they cut him. I mean, that moving forward with the season hasn't even started yet. We just barely ended. But he just was such a distraction or so much of a problem, or whatever you want to call it, that the Dolphins said, it's not worth it. We're going to let him go. Now, I hope that he can get back on the right track, but it sure sounds like he was in very messed up situations that were taking place. So I have to, mention it here. If you want to look up his stories, I'll find some links and share them down below, but there's not a whole lot that I can say that's definitive, but it's a little messy, so you might want to check it out for yourself. Okay, number 3 spot, I'm giving to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Now, I gave them a highlight last year, and so you'd think I wouldn't do it again, and like I was overlooking Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, but they did a rehash essentially of the same thing that I knocked them for last year. But this time, this is deserved. Meghan Markle is really in over her head with the drama of everything going on. No one that I know who has how do I say this? It's not necessarily common sense, but anybody who is actually paying attention and listening really believes that she's in dire situation, and she's just over dramatizing everything that was taking place with the royal family. Now, given I think that the royal family, I live in the United States, the royal family does not mean a whole lot over here. It's something that people just kind of get into. It's like an idea ooh, there was a royal family over there at some point. But it really doesn't matter all that much. But regardless of that, she's really making Prince Harry's life a crap hole. But at the same time, Prince Harry being a man and being the husband, you'd think he'd want to take charge of a situation like that. I don't know if he's being blindsided or if he's really just that pompous. There's something wrong with this kind of couple, and they just seem miserable. There's nothing about the interview that they did with Oprah where I'm just like, oh, this is so genuine and this is so real. It all feels so fake, and it just feels like she's just doing this to get more attention. So there's nothing in here where I'm just like, I feel for her. I don't. I'm sure that there's other people out there who do, but you gotta follow the link, the chain link of facts here. And there's so much that would just break this chain. There's holes everywhere. Just no, I don't buy into it. The number 2 spot I'm going to give to I think it's pronounced Petr Yan. He was in the recent fight with the UFC. He battled against Aljamain Sterling for the bantamweight at the championship at the UFC. And the thing is, like, it appeared that he was winning. It looked like he genuinely was winning for this fight. But he used an illegal knee move basically into Sterling's face. And basically it caused him to automatically forfeit the match. And it just seemed like such a weird thing to happen. Like, I don't know what was going on in his head, but regardless of the situation, even if he was losing on his side, like, you don't just do a move like that and just, like, and lose the whole thing. It's counterproductive, and it was wrong, and regardless of the situation. So, I don't support the idea that that's his last maneuver or resort that he had to do in order to deal with the fight. Again, it looked like he was winning, so why bother doing something stupid like that? All right, number 1 on the no side, I'm giving to Lil Nas X. 2 words: Satan shoes. Yeah, you make Satan shoes. Like, you're gonna get a no here, especially since these shoes supposedly have human blood in them. I can't figure a real idea of why that would be a good thing, even if you were just wanting to find some internet controversy. Like, that's digging a little too deep there, and it's not good. You're really taking advantage and exploiting the children-based audience that you were kind of cultivating and developing earlier. When you go on and do performances with Elmo and other characters on Sesame Street, like, it's not good. It's not good. And the music video that he dropped with it, involving Satan and all this, is just like, no. Bad. No. All right, I don't have really much more else to talk about that. It's going to get too philosophical, so let's just leave it at that. All right, so let's get into the last yes, the number 1 yes. I am going to give this to Spencer Lee. Spencer Lee is a wrestler that took a fight in the March Madness. Yes, other sports take place during March Madness, and he won his 3rd NCAA Wrestling Championship at Iowa, and he did it with no ACLs. Like, basketball players are probably incredibly surprised by this. I am surprised by this. I know what it's like to, like, have certain parts of your body, like, just start to not work for you anymore. But he just said, no, no excuses. I'm going to try to win this thing. And so, despite him not being like a huge star at this point, I mean, maybe a college star, but not a huge star at this point, there's something about that I truly admire, and I feel like, I'm going to give him the highlight. I'm going to give him the number 1 spot right here. He deserves it. He worked his tail off, I'm sure, a 3rd championship, and he's got no freaking ACLs. What more do you want, people? All right, so there we go. That's the 5 and 5 for the month of March in 2021. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have other people you think have awesome highlights or super no highlights that I should be looking into for throughout the year, comment down below in the videos, and we will talk to you later.